Imagine a factory makes a product for $10, but part of the real cost is pushed onto everybody else through climate damage. The market price looks cheap because society is paying part of the bill. A carbon tax tries to change that. It puts a price on each ton of greenhouse gas emissions so the polluter faces more of the true cost of its choices. I am Fang Zheng, an economist, and in the next 5 minutes I will show you why economists like this idea, why it can work, and why the politics can still be very difficult. Economists call this an externality. A factory pays for labor, machines, and fuel, but it may not pay for all the environmental damage created by its emissions. So its private cost is lower than the social cost. That creates a market failure. The economy can end up producing too much of the carbon-intensive good because part of the cost is invisible in the market price. A carbon tax is a classic Pigouvian solution. It does not tell every company exactly which technology to use. Instead, it changes the price signal. The more carbon you emit, the more you pay. Cleaner options become relatively more attractive. Singapore provides a useful example. It introduced Southeast Asia's first carbon pricing scheme. The tax applies to large facilities that directly emit at least 25,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent a year. Roughly 50 facilities in power, manufacturing, waste, and water account for about 80% of Singapore's greenhouse gas emissions. Since 2024, taxable facilities have also been allowed to use high-quality international carbon credits for up to 5% of taxable emissions. The design shows an important principle. Policymakers often start with large, measurable emitters rather than trying to tax every entity directly. The carbon tax is now at $45 and targets to increase further in 2028. However, good economics may fail in real life. France's Yellow Vest protests are a powerful reminder that climate policy cannot survive on economic theory alone. The protest began in 2018 around planned fuel tax increases, particularly diesel. Research found that many protesters were not rejecting climate action itself. They felt the policy was unfair, that ordinary people carried too much of the burden, and that they had too little voice in the decision. The lesson is bigger than France. Public acceptance depends on trust, transparency, and visible fairness. People need to understand what the tax is for, where the money goes, and whether realistic alternatives exist before prices rise. So does a carbon tax work? Studies suggest carbon taxes can reduce fuel use and emissions, and they can encourage efficiency and innovation. But the tax rate, coverage, revenue use, and political design matter enormously. A price that is too low changes little. A price that rises too fast without good political design can trigger backlash. The economic idea is simple: make pollution more expensive and cleaner choices more valuable. The difficult part is making that transition effective, fair, and politically durable.